The football season of 2020 continues for Western Kentucky University. The Hilltoppers have earned a bid to the LendingTree Bowl in Mobile, Alabama the day after Christmas. So they are going bowling again and taking on Georgia State from the Sun Belt Conference. And we're with Athletic Director Todd Stewart. Todd, an unusual year for everyone. How much of a difference was it in regarding the bowl selection scenario and processes than it was in previous years?
Well, the bowl selection process really wasn't a whole lot different than what it was before. The unusual aspect this year was not every team played the same number of games. You know, even across the country, you had such a disparity, and as a result, there was no official criteria in terms of number of wins. So in a normal year, if we were 5 and 6, you know, we would probably not be in a bowl game, although there have been years where teams with a losing record have made it. But the way it was this year, because we played so many games, we actually were 4 and 3 in Conference USA. And with Conference USA having 7 bowl tie-ins, you know, I felt like that win over Charlotte that got us to 4 and 3 in the league would get us one of those 7 spots, and fortunately it did.
As our director of athletics, you put together a very challenging schedule and then added another game during the year in BYU. Undefeated at the time. I've only lost 1 game. Do you feel like the challenging schedule that we played also helped us get a bowl bid?
Well, I think it did in the sense that we played 11 games. I mean, I think that just showed a level of resiliency that obviously the bowls, when they pick teams to come to their games, they want to feel confident the game will happen.
Right.
And so the fact that we played 11 helped. You know, the BYU game, I don't know if we'd have taken that on if we had known we'd have played the other 10 games, but, you know, we didn't really know that we would and felt like that's a nationally televised game and it's a chance to go to an area of the country we don't normally take our program to, and so that's why we did that.
You know, we started off the year 1 and 4 against this challenging schedule, and then we're 2 and 6. And it's a case where, you know, the kids could have lost focus, lost maybe some internal discipline, and maybe had some issues with COVID like so many other schools did. But your credit to our staff and administration and to our players, to the leadership in that locker room, even though things weren't going the way they wanted it to, they were able to still continue to be disciplined, do the right things. And I'm sure there's good fortune too, but it all paid off.
Well, you nailed it. I mean, to me, that's the number one thing about this season is you see even today the number of schools that are opting out, that are choosing not to go to bowl games that could. And I think the fact that our kids went from 1 and 4 and then 2 and 6 in a COVID year with all the challenges that creates, and yet never quit, never gave up, continued to play hard, says volumes about their character and their resilience and their dedication and their determination, and therefore then obviously to finish the way we did put them in a great spot. But that would not have happened had they not had, you know, the determination and the dedication that they had.
But with Athletic Director Todd Stewart, you know, we've played some bowl games where we've really had a lot of exposure depending upon what time of the day and what day the game is on. You know, I remember the game a year ago. We were really the only game last year, the only game in town at the time on TV. What's it like this year in terms of the exposure with a 2:30 kickoff in Mobile the day after Christmas?
Well, it's more of a traditional date in terms of a Saturday afternoon. It is not the only game in town, though. There are 3 or 4 other bowl games that day, unlike the couple you mentioned, and like even going back to the Miami Beach Bowl, the year we were ranked, that was the only game on a Monday afternoon, and then it led into Monday Night Football. So probably a little more exposure from that one than maybe this year's, but I also think the day after Christmas, being a Saturday afternoon, you have people naturally just wanting to watch some football. So if we put on a good show, we'll have a good rating.
And it's also great for recruiting.
Well, it is. I mean, I think ultimately, you know, you want to be able to tell your kids you can go to a bowl game. This is the 7th time in 9 years that we have. We have 4 bowl wins, too. And, you know, the thing that's always been nice about our program is it hasn't been about just making the bowl game. It's been about winning it. And, you know, for the last 6 times we've been in a bowl game, we have won it. So hopefully it's 5 out of 7 after Saturday.
Now, it's also, I think, a little bit of maybe a rivalry can start developing between Conference USA and the Sun Belt. The Sun Belt had such a great year. It's the best year they've ever had. We certainly, WKU had a tougher non-conference schedule than Georgia State by far, but they played probably a tougher conference schedule because the Sun Belt was up this year. So it's going to be interesting to see when CUSA schools are matched up against Sun Belt schools in bowl games this year, how it's going to go.
No doubt. And there's a number of those matchups. And obviously with Coastal Carolina and Louisiana Lafayette, I mean, those were 2 teams that were ranked, actually. And so, and Appalachian State has a great history and tradition, and Georgia State played all of them. So, There are a number of Conference USA Sun Belt matchups, and obviously this is a rematch with Georgia State. The last time we played them was not a good day for the Tops. We lost the Cure Bowl in 2017, and so the freshmen on both of those teams are the seniors now. It's kind of come full circle, and I know our guys, they didn't feel good about the way that one went, but certainly have a chance to end it on a good note.
And Georgia and Atlanta is such a pivotal state for our football program, so we're going into Georgia State's backyard daily trying to recruit players from that area, so I would assume it's also a big bragging rights game.
Well, it will, and the thing you pointed out earlier, the exposure, for our program, Bowling Green's not a huge media market, so the best way for us to grow our program is through obviously winning non-conference games and in the postseason. Those are the times I think when we have eyeballs on us that we might not otherwise have, and certainly a bowl game and a nationally televised game on ESPN will have a lot of attention on us, and it's a chance to have alumni see the team play, but also, like you said, possible recruits. They're looking to see what we look like, and it's a chance to show them what our program's all about and hopefully get them to join it.
Now, it's 6 p.m. on the 26th. Are you going to take at least a deep breath on behalf of what you've gone through, the administration has gone through, the student-athletes and coaches, and say, yes, we played 12 games this year, one of the very few to do it, and we've got through the season. Hopefully it'll be after a bowl win, but do you take a deep breath and at least a little quick pat on the back before you turn your attention to the other sports?
I think a lot of people will do that, Randy. I really do. I think just you go back to the spring and the summer and what we were talking about then and the conversations we were having, and there was so much uncertainty on if we would have a season, and if we would, what it might look like. And so, fast forward to now, and on the night of the 26th, we will have played 12 games. I think that doesn't happen if we don't have, first and foremost, players and coaches obviously very dedicated to doing day in and day out what they had to do. But I feel really good about our administrative staff as well. The people that they're here across the board and setting up the policies and the medical protocols that we had to have to even give us a chance. And fortunately, it all came together.
A lot of work behind the scenes.
No question.
It's really been an amazing fall in 2020 to get all this put in place, and it's worked out.
Well, it has, and I think the spring will be a lot of fun as well because, there'll be a lot more events. With obviously the normal spring sports going on, but then volleyball and soccer playing in the spring as well. So for Hilltopper fans, there won't be many days that there won't be a game, and that'll be pretty neat.
All right, we're social distancing, but at least a fist bump for what you and your administration and everyone's done in the football program this year.
Well, thank you, Randy. It was a collective effort. A lot of people did a terrific job, and great being with you all year, and glad we've got one more.
That's for sure. Hilltoppers against Georgia State in the LendingTree Bowl in Mobile, 2:30 p.m. Central Standard Time on December 26th. And we'll have more after this on our Bowl Preview Show.
The Stewart Richey Service Group's about offering many different areas of service. That's one of the unique things that we have to offer to the client, is that they can make one phone call and reach a service provider for whether it be HVAC, plumbing, electrical, refrigeration, or fire protection. We cover just about everything.
At MedCenter Health, the safety and well-being of our patients is important to us. We want you to know that you are safe with us. If you have an emergency, need diagnostic imaging, lab work, rehabilitation services, or a visit with your doctor, we have measures in place to keep you safe. Call-ahead scheduling and telemedicine visits are available, because getting you back to the things that are most important to you is important to us. Learn more at medcenterhealth.org.
Randy Lee and head coach Tyson Helton back on our Bowl Preview Show as the Hilltoppers get ready to take on the Georgia State Panthers out of the Sun Belt Conference on the day after Christmas at 2:30. I'd like to let you know about the Stewart Richey Service Group, servicing Hilltopper fans at their home, business, and facility. With financing now available, there's no need to worry when a major repair is needed. Stewart Richey will be there to take care of you. The Stewart Richey Service Group, your one-call solution. Well, Coach, we're here for another game. A few weeks ago, I'm driving by your office. It's late at night. And a day after the Charlotte game, you're up there on the board drawing up plays. I could see, your lights were on a dark night.
Yeah.
So I just had a feeling you were not drawing up new plays for the 2021 season. I assumed it was for a bowl game, and I was right.
Well, the work never stops, no matter what. So that's just the life of a ball coach. But, yeah, you actually caught me on a night that I'm sure we were doing some game planning for future bowl opponents. Yeah, you could say that.
Let's hope some of those plays you drew up a couple of weeks ago will work.
Yeah, I know. I tell you what, we've had a good ample time to prepare. It's good to finally, have that much time. A couple of times this year we were rushed to do some things, but excited about this bowl opportunity. I really, we've worked extremely hard to get to where we're at. We've had a long, hard year, but have been rewarded with a bowl opportunity, and now we got to roll up our sleeves and go get a win.
We're one of a handful that's been able to get through this season with no cancellations once our schedule was put in place. We had one game pushback, but we were able to play it. Really, I'm not going to call it a miracle because so many things, some people work hard behind the scenes, but a remarkable achievement.
Yeah, I mean, it's just hats off again to our administration. Starts with President Caboni and his commitment to not only athletics but the university, and being able to say, hey, we're going to have our students here on campus and try to be as normal as possible, and we all know we got to follow the restrictions and guidelines, and then Todd Stewart's commitment to to try to make it as normal a season as possible. And then our players, that was a tough decision in a time when really people didn't want to really do anything, to be honest with you. I mean, a lot of people were saying, hey, we shouldn't even be outside right now. But, our kids wanted to play football, and they knew that it was going to be a challenging season. They rolled up their sleeves and was committed to the process. And so that's why we're sitting here today, with because of their commitment and our administration's commitment.
You talk about the process. You also have a term you use, full body of work.
Yeah.
And that's really what this season has been about, because at one point in time, 1-4.
Yeah,
2 wins and 6
bad memories.
2 wins and 6 defeats. So I mean, a lot of people could have gone south on this, and a lot of things are going on. You have to do extra because of the pandemic, and you stay together as a unit and finish strong and won the last 3 games and earned yourself a bowl game.
Yeah, really, all that matters is what's going on inside your program and your kids and your players and how they feel. And our kids never batted an eye. I mean, our players, they're tough guys, and we may struggle at times. And, we had a tough schedule, but a schedule we embraced, wanted to play those tough games. And they didn't go our way all the time. But our kids never batted an eye. They talk about all the time, like you said, full body of work. And so we got one more game. One more game. If we can try to go win this one, we could look back on this season and say, hey, this was a rewarding season. It was worthwhile playing this season.
Do you feel that the challenges you had in the non-conference schedule, and, of course, we played Marshall when they were playing really well.
Yeah.
Do you feel that prepared you for the final stretch run?
I do. I definitely do. I think we played
So next year you're going to front-load the schedule like this again?
We'll see. That's Todd Stewart's job. And Todd does a great job with scheduling. You got to look at this year's scheduling. We went into this scenario this year about you're talking about schools, not our school. I'm talking about everybody across the country going, number one, how do you get games in? Number two, you got to be able to finance your budget and be able to do that. And for what Todd Stewart was able to do in the schedule he was able to put together, was it challenging? Yeah, but we were able to get those games in, games we wanted to play. I mean, nobody didn't say, hey, we wanted to go to BYU. Everybody raised their hand and said, let's go play BYU.
Right.
So now at the time we didn't know they were going to be what they were, but you want to play those games, and so we all know what it was. But yeah, to answer your question, I do feel like those challenging games in the front half of the season really helped us on the back end, and we were able to get on a roll there. And I feel like we played our best football right there at the end.
Head coach Tyson Helton in year 2 on the Hill, second straight bowl game. Congratulations to that. What about Georgia State? What do we know about them?
Good football team. A good football team. Really complete team. Offensively for them, their quarterback's a good player, talented kid, big, tall kid, can see well, got a good arm, can run. They got good skill around them. They get out in the open, they make a catch or break out with a run, they're going to take it to the house. I mean, they really do have good skill. Big physical offensive line. So, offensively for them, it's another challenging game for our defense. Defensively for them, when you turn on the film, they look like they love to play the game. They get after you. They don't make a lot of mistakes. They're multiple fronts and change their coverages and keep the quarterback guessing. So it's a tough opponent. It really is. But I do think we match up well with them. I really do. If you look at their schedule and our schedule, I mean, they're pretty comparable. They played some really tough games throughout the year, and their 4 losses are against quality opponents. I mean, really good football teams.
So your non-conference schedule is tougher, and their conference schedule is probably tougher because this is the best year the Sun Belt has ever had.
Oh, yeah, by question. I mean, if you look at the Sun Belt top to bottom this year, particularly the division they're in, I mean, that's pretty strong.
But you know who was picked 5th in their division preseason by the coaches?
You're going to tell me because you're the stats guy. What is it?
Coastal Carolina.
Wow.
They were picked last.
Wow. Well, you know, those preseason deals. I'll be honest with you.
No, that wasn't the media. It was the coaches.
I
Paul.
know, but I'll be honest with you. You. As a coach, go ahead and pick me last every year. That's when you know you're about to have your best year. You know, so no, but they're a good team, and they're a good conference, and they're very comparable to our football team. I think what it comes down to is we've both had multiple weeks to prepare. I think we both match up well against each other. It really just comes down to on that day who's going to show up, who's going to play the best, and who's not going to make stupid mistakes and all those kind of things. And that's really what bowl games are all about.
You know, a lot of it is mental in bowl games. Some teams want to be there more than another. And that's not always the case, but sometimes, you know, and you feel like you have a lot to play for because you want to finish at 6-6.
Yeah, no, and so do they. I mean, they're sitting there too, trying to say that they've had a pretty good year as well. And they're led by a really good head football coach, and he's a strong personality, and his team's going to show up to play. And so we know that, we embrace that. I think it's really important, though, you don't peak too soon. You know, like we had a great week of practice last week, probably our best week of practice we've had all year. And you'd think, well, the season's over and it's the week before the regular bowl game week that you might have a loss. We had our best week of practice. So now we got to carry that momentum into this week, and you don't want to peak too soon. So hopefully our kids will be back tomorrow, and we'll get a chance to do all that.
You mentioned their head coach, Sean Elliott. They've been consistently good under his watch. Took over a program that, quite frankly, wasn't very good. Now, they've only played football 11 years. But in 3 of the last 4 years, they've gone to a bowl. So they've done a good job. Of course, they beat us when our seniors were freshmen down in Orlando. So we're looking for a little bit of payback as we take on Georgia State here on the 26th. Now, you talked about their offense. Up front, they have 3 linemen who made all-conference. 3.
Yeah, no, they're big physical offensive line up front. They move the line of scrimmage well. They get after you, and they take a lot of pride in their unit. And, when you back that up with quality skill players, that makes for a pretty good offense. So, I expect them to go out there and really be a good challenge for our defense. But one, our defense will be excited to play.
Well, you're not afraid to play anyone with your defense like this. I mean, you look, your season ended with some terrific statistics. You're number 1 in the country in passes defended, passes broken up. You're second in the country in yards allowed per game passing. And, it's a team effort, but your secondary really, has some marquee numbers.
Yeah, and really that's, you look at Clayton White, that's his expertise, I mean, he's a DB guy and a coverage guy. And, we were led by a senior group back there, and they did a tremendous job. And, I can't think of how many times that ball went up in the air down the field, and we kept, broke it up.
Yeah.
You kept the big play.
Now, we like a couple more picks.
Yeah, well, I'll take that. Well, maybe we're holding them for the bowl game. Maybe the bowl game. You and I were talking. Who was it? We had the 2 touchdowns. Was it Southern Miss?
2 defensive touchdowns?
No, it was FIU.
FIU game, yes.
You and I were talking about the week before about and then we said, hey, they come in bunches, and they did, and so, but yeah, we're about due again for a couple good turnovers. Some more defensive touchdowns. That'd be great.
Well, as valuable as Cornelius Brown has been to them, he has thrown 9 interceptions. Their redshirt quarterback.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, and he is talented, and he does some good things. And like I said, they got pieces to the puzzle, and our defense will need them to show up big time.
All right, more with Coach right after this. Our bowl preview show continues.
The Stewart Richey Service Group's about offering many different areas of service. That's one of the unique things that we have to offer to the client, is that they can make one phone call and reach a service provider for whether it be HVAC, plumbing, electrical, refrigeration, or fire protection. We cover just about everything.
Some see a grilled cheese sandwich and ask why. I see a new kitchen with a grill and ask why not.
I really need to start adding less to cart and more to savings.
Sitting on this couch so long made me want to make some changes, starting with this couch.
Yeah, I need a house with a different view. And this is the bank that will help you do it all. Because at U.S. Bank, our people are dedicated to turning your new inspiration into your next pursuit.
Welcome back to our LendingTree Bowl preview show. It's a good time of the year for me to go to Mobile to the LendingTree Bowl, but now buying all these Christmas presents. So maybe I can go down there and grab some money.
You want to go to Wenzel's. That's where you want to go.
Here's my problem.
Putting a plug in for Wenzel's.
That is my favorite place,
It's a good spot.
Grilled, but I'm a little concerned. We're flying down on Christmas Day. I'm assuming Winchell's is closed on Christmas.
Probably, yeah.
And the game's early the next day.
But I wouldn't put it past Mobile restaurants to be open on Christmas Day or Christmas Eve.
Maybe I'll look into that. But I was get some stuff catered to the hotel from Winchell's.
No, that's what I was going to say.
They don't serve breakfast, so I've got to go to the stadium early. So I've never been to Mobile without visiting Winchell's.
Yeah, I know. I'm the same way.
Yeah.
I love their oysters.
Me too. The grilled. You ever had the charcoal grilled oysters? Those are my
they're
favorite.
Excellent.
Yeah.
They're one of my favorites.
Yeah.
And I do the raw oysters too.
Oh,
now.
me too.
I
yeah.
love the raw oysters.
Sure.
I can eat them all day long.
Mobile's an underrated city.
No, it's a great town. I love Mobile. My wife's family all lives in Mobile.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're playing in the stadium where they play Senior Bowl, right? I mean, that's where they play Senior Bowl. Ladd People Stadium.
Yeah, Ladd People Stadium.
They're going to allow 17% capacity for this game, so 6,500 will be the capacity for that game. We've
My
only
wife's family will be half of them. Probably.
Oh, great! Yeah, we only played down there one time. This was in when Coach Petrino was here, and Brandon Dowdy was a freshman. Did you hear the story about this?
No, I did not.
Brandon had a bad game. And, we really didn't pass protect for him. We didn't keep anyone in the backfield. It was our 5 linemen against their 9 guys. And he threw a couple picks and this or that, and he came back, and things didn't go well when he got home, and coach was not too happy. And for a couple of days, Brandon left the program.
Oh my gosh.
Jeff
Brom. I remember this. And Jeff had to go save him or go get him.
Jeff saved him.
Yeah.
Or he was going to transfer.
Yeah, I remember.
So that's my memory of Mobile. We got beat down there, and Brandon Dowdy left for a couple of days.
It must have been a pretty big deal because I can remember when coming here hearing that story. And it wasn't from Brom. It was just from other people.
Okay, yeah.
It probably was from Brandon, to be honest
It
with
could
you,
have
if
been.
I remember correctly.
Yeah.
But no,
that was that was a good recruit that Jeff brought in, though, wasn't it?
Heck yeah.
Keeping him here.
Heck yeah. Well, some of the best recruiting you do is keep your best players around.
Yeah.
Hey, and with this portal thing we're about to hit, I mean, that might be our best recruiting deal is keeping some of our starters around.
So you're recruiting D'Angelo?
I'm recruiting them like there's no tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're having heavy negotiations every day.
Well, good luck on that. How different has that been?
It's been very different.
Now, here's my guess. We have, 131 FBS schools?
Yeah, that's right.
I'm going to guess on an average between 8 and 10 players on a team are going to transfer.
I would say even more than that.
So if we have, let's just say we have 10.
Well, this year, maybe years prior, but now that
this year.
Yeah, this year, with the one-time transfer rule fixing to hit and all that, and everybody knows it, there's going to be a ton of turnover.
So let's just say it's only an average of 10. Yeah. That's 1,300 Division I football players that are transferring.
Well, they had that many easily last year before the rule ever came in.
1,300?
Yeah, we were way over that.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I'll have to go back and look at it. But
oh, my goodness.
It'll be unbelievable how many are in this year for sure.
So
but when you talk to a guy like D'Angelo, he's dealing with well,
he's not transferring to another school. He's transferring.
Yeah, I mean, he's dealing with the pro side of things. Mm-hmm. So, and I don't blame the young man, but our job is to just make sure he's educated in the process and then let him make the decision, So, and he's a very, very smart young man. So,
right.
Whatever decision he does, we'll support, But, yes, we are recruiting D'Angelo.
Now, I would assume it's made this year's bowl season a little different because of, the players' eligibility. They didn't lose their eligibility for playing in the season. And then you've got, the COVID situation and this or that. So, I mean, do you know who's going to be on your team for the bowl game? I mean, going into the bowl season.
Well, I feel like our football team is very close. We're very open and honest. I'm always, pretty black and white with the guys on where I stand on everything. So I've told them at the start of the season, hey guys, we get 1 year together every year, okay? And at the end of the year, we all look at what do we got to do best for us, all those kind of things. So we're tied at the hip for a year. And Well, it just so happens at the end of this year, it's all lining up where guys got to start making decisions. So, I'm open and honest about guys may want to look in the portal. They may want to see what's going on out there. But at the same time, we're still playing football games. And I'm okay with that because that's going to be the way of the world. Now, every situation is different. Some guys are ready to move on immediately and all those kind of things. But, I think if you're just open and honest with the whole deal, you'll be just fine. And our football team's in a good place. We got everybody we need to go win a football game.
When you look at Georgia State, we talked about some of their strengths and their balance on offense. But one thing they've done this year, and sometimes stats can be misleading. You call me the stat guy, but I do realize stats can be misleading sometimes of who you play and this or that. But they've allowed 280 yards passing. That's a lot.
Yeah. No. When every game takes on its own form, right? But hopefully we'll have that stat. That would be a good one to have. That'd be a good day at the park.
Well, you're coming off a game where you threw for the most yards you've thrown in a game this year, 218, and you also ran it for 218. That's a perfect setup.
If you're playing really good defense, and let's hope we're still consistent defensively in this game. If you're over 400 yards of offense and you're controlling the football and you're taking care of the football, that's probably winning football, to be honest with you. So, however you get it done, whether it's 250 throwing and whatever running, or vice versa. But at the end of the day, you got to play good team football. So it's about field position, it's about turnovers, creating turnovers, explosive plays. That, and however you get that, it doesn't have to be all on offense, defense. Just however you get that. That's the biggest thing.
What do you think the team has done the best in terms of improving, say, from the first 8 games to the final 3? What was the biggest improvement?
You heard me say all the time, team football. All year I kept saying, hey, we just hadn't played great team football. We were playing really good defense, not so hot on offense. Maybe we did some great things on special teams, and then the next week we didn't do so good. We go a block punt, something. We weren't all linked. We were all playing hard for each other. We all believe in each other, but we just weren't playing linked and playing great team football. But I really felt like the last 3 games in particular, particularly the last 2 for sure, that we kind of hit our groove there and was playing good team football.
Also very few turnovers. So we fumbled probably a little too much in the early part of the year that hurt us.
Early turnovers,
but, didn't turn it over late in the year. You had a quarterback who threw – Biggie T threw 264 passes, and he didn't throw any of the other team.
I tell you what, I've never seen that, or been a part of that, to be honest with you. To say, hey, you hadn't thrown any interceptions all year, that's really, really good.
Well, it's rarely happened in the history of college football.
Yeah, I mean, I've never, like I said, I've never been a part of it. And that's great. He does a great job taking care of the football.
You feel like also
Piggy, I bring up Piggy's deal, and the guy doesn't get to have a spring, so, and then all of a sudden you're dealing with COVID, you got to redo your schedule, you're front loaded on the front end. He's trying to find his groove, and that was tough for a quarterback, for a first-year quarterback. And now, you saw him play his best ball down the stretch, and I really felt like those last couple games, that's when you really say, okay, that's the guy that we're looking for to lead this football team. And so I was really proud of him.
Also, I thought the improvement, John Haggerty was bothered by a little leg problem there middle of the year, didn't punt it very well, but the last 3 games, at least he came out of it. I felt like his punting was also a major key in field position and helping you win football games.
No, he did, and the biggest thing, he was able to get back in a groove, get out of that rut. Like you say, he had some injuries and nagging. It's nothing huge, but just nagging, wear and tear, and it really affected him. But he was able to get out of that, and then once we got him back, that fell right in line with what we were trying to do, say great team football in all 3 phases. And the guy that was all consistent for us was Braden Arvison, though. And so long as you got a guy you can trust to run out on that football field and go make kicks, that's huge for you. We didn't have that. We were up and down, and I thought Corey, man, he hit a great ball last ball game to go win it. Maybe we'll hit another great one to go win it. But Braden was huge again for us this year.
Well, congratulations so far to everything that's happened, and there's, of course, a big game here and trying to finish with 4 straight wins, taking a lot of momentum into the offseason, and take a deep breath when this one is over, and hopefully you can enjoy your family while you're down in Mobile after the game.
Well, I appreciate it. Great, have a great year with you, and appreciate everything you do.
Likewise, Coach.
Yes, sir.
That's Tyson Helton. More to follow on our bowl preview show as the Hilltoppers take on Georgia State on the 26th day of December down in Mobile. More after this.
The Stewart Richey Service Group's about offering many different areas of service. That's one of the unique things that we have to offer to the client, is that they can make one phone call and reach a service provider for whether it be HVAC, plumbing, electrical, refrigeration, or fire protection. We cover just about everything.
As we strive to regain some sense of normalcy in our lives, we at J.C. Kirby & Son Funeral Chapels are keeping up with all revised CDC guidelines and Kentucky State executive orders regarding funeral and cemetery services. Currently, funeral services and visitations can be held with a 50% capacity. We're open to in-house arrangements along with pre-needs and monuments. We are still here to serve you as we have for over the last 58 years. Please continue to take care of yourself, and we will all get through this together.
We're back on the LendingTree Bowl preview show as the Hilltoppers take on Georgia State the day after Christmas, December 26th at 2:30 in the afternoon. We're joined by one of our star defensive players, Antoine Kincaid. Antoine, I could spend the next segment just talking about, statistically speaking, how great our defense has been, especially in the secondary. You have to take a lot of pride on what you and your teammates have been able to accomplish this season.
Oh, yes, sir. We stay after practice, every day after practice, at least 4 times a week with our head defensive coordinator, our position coaches, and we just work, turnovers and, all the things that will make us a better defense statistically.
Some of the numbers to talk about regarding the Hilltopper defense this year: they're number 1 in the nation in passes defended, number 1 in the nation in passes broken up, 6th in the country in fewest yards gained during a game in terms of passing, and teams only complete 52% of their passes. Nowadays, that's unheard of. That's 7th best in the country. Those are just amazing numbers.
Yeah, I believe it's just like the back end, how much chemistry we have. We've been here long enough,
Right.
Deontay Ruffin, Devin Key, Roger Cray, new addition, Dominique Bradshaw, and, guys like at our nickel spot, Trey Meadows and Amari Alexander. We just, come together with such great chemistry to take away all of those, big throws.
Now, would you trade a few of those pass breakups for interceptions, though?
Yes, a lot more, a lot more. I got put in plenty of positions, especially myself, to make, those type of plays, get those turnovers. But I feel like, with those guys coming back next year, we'll do it.
Well, some people will tell you that's why you're playing defense. Mm-hmm. You're going to break up passes,
Exactly.
you're not going to catch them.
Exactly.
Well, the receivers couldn't break him up. Okay, so it's not like they could do a better job than you. And they can catch the ball better, and you can cover better.
Yes.
So you're
exactly.
probably in the right position, aren't you?
Yes, sir. We're in the perfect position.
Okay. Now you're going back closer to your stomping grounds. You grew up in Jacksonville and Valdosta, Georgia, and then we're pretty close there in Mobile, and that neck of the woods.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that game. I got about 12 people like my family coming, so it's going to be a big deal for me.
Mm-hmm. Well, good. I'm glad they're able to come over and see you play.
I'm glad they're coming to actually a close game because, it's been, far out, especially Utah. They're not coming to Utah.
No. And flying's always been an issue during the pandemic, so they can drive over a couple hours and see you play. What have you seen? Your Georgia State's a team that's balanced. Mm-hmm. That's a good. They had some question marks coming into the season. They didn't know about their quarterback, and they had a backup running back who they're going to move up to their top spot. And both those guys have done well. Coach has been a good running back. Brown has had a really good year at quarterback. They've got an all-conference wide receiver, an all-conference tight end, 3 all-conference linemen.
Yes, sir.
This is maybe one of the most talented offenses you've seen this year.
It is, and it starts with the guy on the outside, number 15. He's a great receiver. He goes up, taps the ball, has a tremendous wingspan. He's aggressive, and then they have those backs there. They're all kind of different. We have a guy that goes out, catch passes. A guy that runs down and tries to run you over, and just intermediate guys. So, tight end, he plays great. I remember him my freshman year, who played at Georgia State at Cure Bowl.
Sure.
45. I remember he had the first touchdown from GSU, I think.
Yeah. Carter's had a really good year. Yeah.
And he's been around a long time. And just like those guys around him, even the slot receivers, they are pretty consistent. And with their quarterbacks, I've seen a lot of number 4 on film. I like the way he throws the ball downfield. He has a pretty good arm, I see on film. So we're looking to get out those guys. They have a pretty basic, attack scheme for us. So guys, just like our defensive backs, when they get in and watch film on 15 and watch the guys that surrounds him, so we can get a good level key on him. So we're looking forward to this game. It's going to be a big one for us. Hopefully we'll end the year 500%. Yes, sir.
Now, you mentioned 2014 we played them in the Cure Bowl. We didn't play very well in that game,
Right.
and they won that game. We have a lot of seniors, so I would assume a lot of players will remember that game. That was a long time ago, but you brought it up, so you must remember it a little bit and then want to have a little bit of a payback.
Oh, yeah, I remember that game. It was a lot of big plays that game, but Georgia State, they caught fire, popped the third quarter, and they took off, with a big lead. So, we had great players on the team. Mike White, who made those throws, and we had good defensive guys. Joe Brown, a guy that I remember who's making big plays that game. So we're just looking forward to get some payback, man. It's a Sun Belt, conference. They have a pretty good year in the Sun Belt.
Pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good.
The best year ever.
Yes. So it's just another opportunity for another big game, and we're ready to play it.
You talked about the different kinds of running backs they have. They have, one will try to run around you, one will try to run through you. I assume the one you really want to get to is the one who tries to run through you because you like that.
Yes, I love contact. We have those backs on our scout teams. Those guys are very tough, physical, and, we have to, go through it each and every week. So I love to put my helmet on somebody, so I'm looking forward to it. Yes, sir.
Credit to you and your senior group because we mentioned a time or two in this show. We lost 4 of our first 5 games. We're sitting at 2-6. And there's a lot of things that you have to do off the field this year to stay healthy and be able to play. And to me, a team that's, with a losing record at that point in time, it's easy to stray and say, I'm going to go do this or do that. I'm not going to follow the protocol. And it appears as like the senior leadership within that locker room kept the team together, not only in winning games, but in keeping the protocol, enabling us to be able to continue to play where COVID did not come in and cancel any games for us.
Sure. Yeah, we're a team that want to play, man. Any given day, win or lose, we're a team that want to play. Like I mentioned earlier, we've been here a long time, a while, together, on the back end, and linebackers Kyle Bailey and D'Angelo Malone at end, Jawan Jones, Jeremy Darvin. We've been here a while, so we love each other, man. We love to play the game of football. That's just our number one thing. So that's what it really was. Partying was going to be there, going to the bars was going to be there. That's regular for a regular student, in college. But this year was different. 2020 is different, and we know that. We understand that. So whatever it took for us to come out and play another game that next week and the next week and the next week, that's what we did, man. We played 11 games. What are we? 11 games, what we're like 5 people in the country.
4 or 5 teams to play
in the country. So, that's big. That speaks a lot about us and our character and what we want to do. Now we're playing in our 12th game in a bowl game. We're going to LendingTree and playing in Mobile, Alabama. So, that speaks highly of us, and we just want a ball.
Antoine Kincaid, our star safety, is our guest on our bowl show. Some teams have opted out. Any thought in our locker room about not playing this game at any point in time?
There's been plenty of thoughts. We've been grinding since June, and we've been taking care of each other and, passing all our COVID tests with negative outcomes. So, we've a little banged up. People are a little tired. People miss their family. They're homesick. Thank God we had a break this weekend, to go home and, chill with our families. But, yeah, it's been a lot of, thoughts. Hey, we want to play this game. We feel like we've done enough. Let's just back off and, come back for the next year. But it's just guys on this team, this is their last game, and they want to get out and play.
Right.
This is a bowl game. This is something that's going to mean something to them in the future. So why not? Why not go out there and play another game? It's here. We can't go back from it. So we're just ready to play.
All right, good luck.
Appreciate you.
It's Antoine Kincaid, Hilltopper star safety. More as our bowl preview show continues.
The Stewart Richey Service Group's about offering many different areas of service. That's one of the unique things that we have to offer to the client is that they can make one phone call and reach a service provider for whether it be HVAC, plumbing, electrical, refrigeration, or fire protection. We cover just about everything.
What if your doctors treated you like family, your nurses calmed your fears, you received personalized, compassionate care at every visit? At TJ Regional Health, we're committed to excellence in patient care for every person, every day. To us, total local care is more than a tagline. It's our promise to you. Come experience exceptional care at the TJ Regional Health network of hospitals and clinics, where people you know care for the people you love. Visit tjsampson.org to learn more.
We're back on our LendingTree Mobile Bowl preview show, the last segment of the show, and we're certainly happy to be having a bowl game here in 2020. And the show's been brought to you by the Stewart Richey Service Group, serving Hilltopper fans at their home, business, and facility. And with financing now available, there's no need to worry when a major repair is needed. Stewart Richey will be there to take care of you. The Stewart Richey Service Group, your one-call solution. We're now joined by our longtime radio color commentator and Hilltopper Hall of Famer Leo Peckinpah. Leo, I remember a day after Christmas when we played our first FBS bowl game of the year in Detroit. Half of our travel party almost never got there because of the snow. So going south to Mobile sounds much more inviting than that December 26th game a few years ago.
Always more exciting or more inviting going south, in my opinion. I'm not a cold weather guy, but I do vividly recall that Little Caesars Bowl up there in Detroit, and boy, it was nasty outside. Thank goodness those kids had a dome to play in, right?
Yeah, well, you almost never got home. Would it take you a couple days to get home?
Yeah, I did. I'm expecting a much faster trip back.
Well, what have you seen in regards to the Hilltoppers' opponent, Georgia State? What sort of stands out as you analyze this team on paper?
Well, they're a very balanced offensive team, and the number that scares me a little bit is that they rush for almost 200 yards a game, 190, and they've got some athletes back there in the backfield. So that's going to be a tall order for the Topper defense, and we'll get to them here in just a little bit because they're playing awfully well. So that ought to be a good matchup.
You know, one thing that when you really dive into this Georgia State team, they had 3 offensive linemen on the All Sun Belt Conference team this year.
Yeah, Randy, that's you know, and that'll get you about 190 yards a game on the ground, right? So, 14 players total, you know, and on the All Sun Belt. Now they weren't all first teamers, obviously. So this is a talented team that kind of like the Toppers. They're playing their best football toward the end of the season. We won our last 3. They won 3 out of their last 4. So these two teams both kind of on a roll right now.
Now, on the other side of the ball for them, and sometimes statistics are skewed because of whom you play and maybe the score of the game, but nonetheless, Georgia State has allowed a ton of yards passing this year defensively.
Yeah, they have, and you know, I really think that's something. Although it hadn't been, you know, we've had several games where we didn't pass well enough to hang our hat on it. So I really think that's going to be one of the keys is the Topper offense, you know, exploiting a weakness right there. Because you know, this team's pretty good defensively against the run. No question, we'll try to set up the run game, but they only give up 140 yards a game on the run. But you know, they do give up a lot of yards through the air.
Sometimes, you know, bowl wins and losses doesn't really determine. I think it's overblown sometimes in regards to how good a conference was, but nonetheless, conferences are judged on what they do in bowl games. And I think this is really a statement game for Conference USA, because in the regular season, I don't think there's any doubt about it, the Sun Belt had a better year, had better, you know, more quality teams, ranked teams. So if Conference USA can step up, and you know they face Sun Belt in quite a few bowls this year. I'm not saying they're trying to save face, but they're trying to show them that, you know, listen, you know, we're good too.
I don't think there's any question about that, and you know, they've got a couple of teams in there that you know, were in the top 20 for a lot of the year in Louisiana and Coastal Carolina, and this was as this season unfolded. Sun Belt Conference had some, you know, they had some teams scored a lot of points. They had some really nice non-conference wins, and So it'll be a tall order for Conference USA to come out with a winning edge, in these bowl games amongst all the members.
Leo, as you follow this team throughout the year, what did you see that improved enough for this team to get on a winning streak at the end of the season and finish with 3 straight victories?
Well, a couple of things, and it's on both sides of the ball. Defensively, Toppers just played really well the last 4 games. Only gave up like 13 points a game, winning 3 out of the 4, and really good against the run. A lot of penetration from the defensive line, and offensively, you kind of feel that, and sometimes you see success rub off because of that. That offense started to get some confidence. They kind of did the basketball version of the 4 corners offense, and they kept the ball a lot on some long, consuming drives, and were able to run the football. So, both sides of the ball, I think the Tops are playing their best football.
Earlier in this bowl preview show, and I was surprised with his answer. Antoine Kincaid, who was a freshman when the Hilltoppers played Georgia State in the Cure Bowl and lost in Orlando, he said the seniors remember that game, even though it was 4 years ago. And he says that will play a role in this game. Thinking back to really Georgia State outplayed the Hilltoppers, especially in the last 3 quarters of that game for that win in Orlando.
Well, what I vividly remember about that was we couldn't keep them off the quarterback. They had 6 sacks, I think it was. Tops really had a difficult time offensively moving the ball, and you and I talked about that game. We even made the comment, I think, during the football game. It just didn't look like some of our players were really interested.
Yeah.
That day. They kind of act like they wanted to be somewhere else. So yeah, that was you really hate to end the season on a low note like that. And some of these kids were on there, and they want to show Georgia State that they'll be the best team this year.
Well, Leo, the Hilltoppers have a veteran offensive line, and you mentioned the quarterback sacks in that last bowl matchup against Georgia State a few years back. Well, they'll be challenged this week because Georgia State racked up 32 quarterback sacks.
Yeah, and they're top 10 in the country in that. It doesn't matter what league you're in. I mean, these guys, they bring it. So the Toppers will have to deal with that, and they've had some time to work on it, and so we'll see. I just think for the Toppers to come out of here with a win, and I think there's a good chance that they can win this game because these 2 teams look pretty even on paper. Toppers have to they got to be able to throw the football, which means they're going to have to protect Piggy a little bit. Of course, he's pretty mobile; he can get out of that pocket a little bit, and control that clock and keep that Georgia State offense off the field, because these guys, they score a lot of points, and they're a pretty dangerous team offensively.
Now, Leo, looking forward to working with you again, and let's hope we can find a restaurant that's open on Christmas down in Mobile so we can find our grilled oysters.
Well, there's always a first, and this will be a first for us, but always look forward to being with you, and go Tops. Okay?
See you soon, Leo. That's Leo Peckinpah. So special thanks today to Todd Stewart, Tyson Helton, Antoine Kincaid, Leo Peckinpah for being with us for our LendingTree Bowl preview show as the Hilltoppers take on Georgia State. That'll be the 26th of December at 2:30 Central Standard Time. Go Tops!